What will energy production look like in the new Trump administration? He picked former governor of North Dakota, Doug Burgum, for Secretary of the Interior and to head the new National Energy Council. He had his confirmation hearing earlier today, and let's take a listen to what he had to say about the Green New Deal.
China imports 10 million barrels of oil every day. They're the largest importer in the world. We have an opportunity to be energy dominant in the United States. If you're going to have a negotiation with China, the first thing on the table is energy. And instead, we've got an energy policy in this country that I think was written by China because we're trying to kill the U.S. energy industry, move to all EVs, and then buy all of our batteries from China.
Well, Matthew, when you hear that, right, he's not wrong on that. China, they do take over all of the EV, everything that's going on, right? It's over 80% that we knew, and that's not great for Americans.
No, I mean, this is one of those issues where it's pretty straightforward, I think. I mean, this is America first, America's interest. And when it comes to energy, I don't think it's very complicated, but it is complicated in terms of actually getting it done. So, hopefully, I think this is one of those picks where you use Burgum at his best. There's some things maybe he's not so great on, but this is one in which he seems to be on the right side.
We talk a lot about tech on this show with Return and everything that's going on with the databases and the power and the energy. But Doug Burgum went out there and he was talking about how we can't store renewable energy. Take a listen.
I don't want the word baseload to be code for no renewables. That's not what you're saying, is it?
No, we need a balance, but they cannot. The intermittent, if you want to call them renewables, is used as a positive word, but this is a fact of life, is they're intermittent. And when they're intermittent, until we have storage solutions, and we're years away from having significant enough cost-effective storage to support that, we need to have the base load, or the intermittent doesn't even have a life.
If you were in the state of Texas, you know all about intermittent energy. Back in, 2021, when we couldn't have the full energy load that we needed to just go ahead and heat all of our homes to the temperature that we wanted them to be heated to. It was only 68 degrees that you were allowed to heat your home to. I know about baseload energy. I want to make sure that we have enough when we need it.
Yeah, this was 4 years ago this February in Texas when everything shut down. People were without power for a long time. We had just moved here. We were in an Airbnb still. And there was no power for a good few days in the cold, and that's no fun. And that's the kind of intermittent we're talking about. And of course, this should be common sense at this point. But what Burgum's saying is the hard truth that people sadly still don't want to hear. So that's refreshing. And when you think about the ridiculous policies and harmful policies of really what amounts to degrowth and deindustrialization of the last years, this would be a sea change and a very welcome change for America.
Well, the other confirmation hearing today was Scott Bessent. He is Donald Trump's pick for the Treasury Secretary, and he was talking about how Donald Trump is going to usher in an economic golden age. But you know what? One of the things that I liked that he said today was that America has a spending problem.
We do not have a revenue problem in the United States of America. We have a spending problem. That historically, for the past 40 or 50 years, revenues, federal government revenues, have averaged about 17 to 17.5% of GDP. Yeah. And spending has been slightly over that, leading us to a 3.5% budget deficit.
This is music to my ears. Inject it in my veins, as they say. I could not love this anymore, that somebody out there is actually stating the facts the way that they need to be said.
Yeah, here's another obvious truth, right? But one that you're not used to hearing anyone actually acknowledge and state publicly. And that is a very powerful thing. I mean, it's not as if there isn't such a thing as, deficit spending in government or in life. But, we have been raiding the Treasury. There is no one with even a modicum of, normal low IQ and above understanding of business who can look at what we've done and say that that's okay. It's not okay. And we're putting ourselves and our children in a very bad place. And we're just depending upon being able to print, money printer go burr, being able to print money and rule the world. So to have someone say that is a powerful thing, because people of his stature with his pedigree and his fancy schools and his fancy jobs, right, they're not usually allowed to say the obvious like this in public in Washington, D.C.
And we started with Doug Burgum talking about China. We're going to end here with Scott Bessent talking about China, because they are one of our biggest adversaries out there, and there's no clean energy. He talks about that.
Now there is a big effort in the Trump administration to reverse it. I think that's going to be bad for the economy, but it is going to be damn good for China because we are in an arms race on clean energy with them. Are you going to be on the side of people who want to unravel this?
Senator Wyden, just so we can frame this for everyone in the room, China will build 100 new coal plants this year. There is not a clean energy race. There is an energy race.
Again, when you just state it so blatantly like that, there's nowhere to hide, right? Where do you take that from there? Because no, of course, when you talk about all of the deregulations and everything, oh no, America, you need to make sure that you get all of the electric vehicles, you do all of the green new energy stuff. China never has to follow those rules. India never has to follow those rules. And you get somebody up there in a Senate confirmation hearing that says that.
No, and you got to say, you are in a race with other countries, with people who hate you and are trying to dominate the world. And it's as if we've had the ruling class party in America in the middle of that race be pulling out be pulling things out the plug, right? I mean, it's like they're running around like shutting down the power in the military base. And that's what they've been doing for some time under the guise of caring about the environment when China is absolutely polluting the earth, more than everybody else. So again, common sense coming in, it's a very powerful thing to hear.
One of the things that I like overall is just, I saw somebody post on X that 10 years ago, people wouldn't even know that Senate confirmation hearings were happening this week. And yet now it's the biggest headlines of every day that they've been happening, right? That's an entire sea shift that we see now. People are hungry for more of this information.
Yeah, one word, Trump. One word, MAGA. One word, the movement that's happening now, this is a sea change. This is a mandate that people just gave the president, and they want to see the receipts. They want to see what happens. They want to see Trump's agenda enacted. It's not a joke. The MAGA base is for real. It's a majority. This is a new coalition. These people just, think about what just happened. These people just rebelled against the entire, mainstream legacy media establishment, against the entire ruling class in this country. So no, the interest of the public is not going away. They want to see this agenda implemented.